Hold up. Wait a minute.
Bruh.
Did you hit the like button? Drop some rabbits in the chat. Let's go.
Hit that like, hit that like. Welcome to the chat. Let's chit chat, hit chat. Hit that like, hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop some, drop them, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop them, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. If you want the tea, come see me. Rabbit hole is the place to be for real news, not fake news. Celebrity news, breaking news around the clock. Real talk, best on the block. I rock, I rock, I rock, I rock. Real talk, best on the block. I rock, I rock. Hit that like, hit that like. Welcome to the chat. Let's chit chat, big chat. Hit that like, hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop some, drop them, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop them, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. True crime is my specialty. Exposing the industry. Unsolved mysteries. Sticking to reality. Fair use commentary. Talking about cults. Trying to get results. Exploring hopes. Exploring, researching, debunking, investigating, being nosy, super nosy, being messy, being shady. Rabbit hole news. That's me, the chick with ADHD, unmedicated but quite educated. Hit that like, hit that like. Welcome to the chat. Let's chit chat, hit chat. Hit that like, hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop some, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop them, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Hit that like, hit that like. Let's go, let's go. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show.
Ooh, hey everybody. Oh my God, I removed my green screen. Can everybody hear me? Let me know. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Oh my God. Let's see if I can move this way. Sorry, y'all. That is the green screen. It's hung up because I'm not using it. So not right now, at least. Oh my God, guys. Nebby's been a member for 21 months. Nebby, thank you for being here. Shout out to Nebby. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Cash has been a member for freaking 30 months. I still have no idea what freak off is, be honest. And I do not want to ask Jeeves. We'll be listening in the bushes. I guess that's a good way to kind of start. Like, what is a freak off? Maybe the government says that it's an orchestrated, organized events of the adult nature kind. And this is what they were orchestrated, organized. And somewhere in between there was trafficking of adults as well as coercion and kidnap. But the case is still kind of going on to determine what exactly all of that is about. And I have a lot to say, but first of all, I have to address something. Nebby, thank you. 21 months, correct. So this morning, YouTube, I got a community warning, okay, which is not a strike. It's like a warning that they give you. They removed the last video that I did on the escort. And y'all know the word that they decided to basically say that it was too sexual in nature and it had to be removed. It's an educational word, by the way. It's one that you would probably talk about in your high schools and middle schools during your SED type of courses for the kids. Something that they tell you that is healthy to do, in order to abstain. That word, that specific, don't put it in my chat. That word, I am not joking. I have the time stamp to prove it. It was 9 minutes into the video, and they said that the word master, yeah, that word is inappropriate. So they removed my video, the M word. Yeah, I'm not joking. So I sent that clip to other creators. So let me tell you what happened, okay? The video was fine up until like later in the evening hours, which tells me that there was, yeah, there you go, baby K has it. The video was fine, and then I get an email from, YouTube sends you an email or whatever, talk about guidelines and communications. Yeah, for one word. And let me tell you, I said a lot of things in that video, but for whatever reason, the M word was the one that got it flagged. So in the morning, and I'm talking about like 3 in the morning. I'm looking because y'all, I've been editing all night. I'm still working on the second Daniel Phillips video, which now I have to go back and remove anytime I've said sex, fu, any of those words. I'm going to remove them. And so there's going to be times in that video where you're going to hear me completely mute because I can't chance it. I can't. So let me tell you what happened. So I contacted, it was weird. So I got up and I was like, all right, what's going on? The appeal process, anytime you get a community warning, they offer you an appeal. You can appeal it. So I tried to appeal it, and the text box where you write your appeal was not there. It submits, okay? And I'm not even able to like make an appeal for it, which I totally would anyways. It's submitted in there. It is what it is. So then what happens next? The dog is barking. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. He must have seen somebody outside. I then I tried to contact support, and the Google support is down. I have a screenshot for Google support being down. So something was going on with Chrome that it wasn't letting me actually use the text box to make my appeal. I reached out to YouTube on X, and when I reached out to them, they were like, well, we've already decided that we're denying whatever appeal you're submitting or something like that. I got so mad. So then I was talking to one of my friends, and they were like, well, you weren't even offered the opportunity to appeal. Like, it appealed because the thing sent through. There was something going on with Chrome, some kind of glitch, that it wouldn't actually let me submit my appeal. So I was like, all right, let me figure this out. I'm very nice to YouTube with the YouTube customer support on the internet. I'm very nice to them. I think that their job is, they deal with a lot of creators and a lot of people. I'm assuming that it's a very hard job. Shout out to them for that, right? But what pissed me off, I'll say this right now, is that then they say, well, it's only a community warning. It's not going to affect your channel. That's not what this is about. People spend money on those transcripts for me to read them. That's what this is about. It took me hours upon hours to edit videos and record. That video that I did yesterday was almost 2.5 hours, and I had to go back and re-edit a lot of things, we were able to condense it under 2 hours, okay? That's what bothers me. And then that's time that I have to get away from my family. This is a full-time job for me. This is a legit job for me. For those that don't appreciate YouTubers, some of us creators, these are our jobs, okay? So I take a huge thing, but what pisses me off is that people actually donated money to get this. How is it that you got the Law and Crimes, Mark Leda can interview a 13-year-old quote-unquote runaway who is half dressed, and he's in the millions and doesn't get his channel removed? I get a video removed over reading a court transcript. Make that make sense. Law and Crime does it all the time. They can go out there and talk about the craziest ass cases. I don't see them censor themselves. I don't see them saying the S word, the R word, the elemental P word. They never say that. But we're creators over here, myself. I see BJ do it all the time too. She's constantly putting disclaimer after disclaimer. It's almost like we're the little guys, and they're always like shitting on us. But the thing is, and I think it's amazing, right, that it speaks to this. BJ had a lot of people on her chat, was it all week when she was covering the Diddy trial. That tells me that the people are tired of the regular schmegular traditional networks, okay, that report on shit that they have no clue what this is about, when it's us, myself, all these other creators that are out there actually doing work. If we don't understand something, if we don't know a person, we're over here webbing the webs to make sure that things make sense. But I'm a one-person show, y'all. I really am. It's just me. I do this. I get up here and I do this. And I have wonderful, beautiful supporters that have supported me through things here and there. But it's crazy to me. You have people that will say the C-U-C-K word with Diddy. And I don't say that, but they are okay to say it. So it's crazy when the people of YouTube say, well, it doesn't affect your channel. It's just a warning. No, it absolutely affects my channel. I am that person that, not so much in elementary school and high school, because I really didn't give a damn, but in college specifically, if I got something wrong on something, I would go to the professor and be like, hey, explain this to me. Explain it to me, because my tuition is paying for this. I'm paying for this out of pocket. It's very personal for me when I spend a lot of time and ask people to donate money for something. It's very, very personal to me. I take huge offense to it. And I take huge offense to the fact that YouTube then says to me, oh, it doesn't affect your channel. It absolutely does. It absolutely does. It affects my time. It affected a video that I spent hours upon hours working on. It affects everything. And then there are people here who tell me, I've been unsubscribed. I didn't even know I was unsubscribed. Why do they do that? Why do they run us over like that? I don't get it. I don't get it, man. It's crazy. So this is what it ended, right? So I escalated that ticket and I said, you didn't give me an opportunity to appeal it. Well, they were giving me the runaround. I talked to like 2 little agents on the YouTube, right? So finally, the second one was like, all right, I'm going to send you to my supervisor. I get to talk to a supervisor, not like on the phone, but like via message. You don't ever get to talk to somebody on YouTube. It's never like that. I talked to a supervisor and I'm explaining the situation. And the supervisor asked me, okay, so if you were to write an appeal, what would you say? And I'm sitting there and I'm praying and I'm like, that's all. Like, you can deny, you can say like, we don't agree. You said this word too much, or you read something inappropriate. That's fine. But at least let me make my appeal. Let me fight for the things. Let me put my narrative out there. It's not fair that we don't get any type of connection. It sucks. It really, really sucks. So, I wrote my appeal in there. I said, this is what I would say. And the supervisor said to me, we'll get back to you in 24 hours. I prayed. It's in God's hands. That's kind of where I'm at. Hold up. I got to sneeze, y'all. Whew. My goodness. It's like allergy season, y'all. It's allergy season. Sister Nova, thank you so much for the $5. You work hard. We see it. YT done you dirty. They did me dirty. I know that if they're doing this to me, they're probably doing it. They're going to do it to other creators, guys. I also think that I don't find it at all. We have paid Diddy protesters. BJ made a really good post on her community wall that I was like, oh yeah, every movement, the Free Britney, the Blake Lively and Baldoni movement, all these movements, right? There's always like groups, right? And then they get bought. And it wouldn't surprise me when I first started talking about Diddy and started covering it, because I have been covering Diddy since before the arrests, since like way before, guys. Okay, myself, I don't want to speak for BJ, but I know she has. Go check her videos. Go check the timeline. This isn't like, oh, I'm new to this or anything like that. I mean, this is music that a lot of us grew up listening to. You know what I mean? So it's like it does impact us, and it is something that we want to work on and we want to talk about and we want to bring light to if there's something wrong going on with the industry or whatever it may be. So it's interesting to me that it's like, you got these people that we're going to see a surge of paid bots. That's what we're going to see. I plan to stream, but I still plan to stream the trial next week. I know that. I'm going to do my best. Typically, when you get like a community warning or something, they say that they don't censor or they don't blackball you or anything like that. I don't believe that whatsoever. I think you get put into some kind of a hole one way or another to completely not get into any reach, if you know what I mean. Sister Nova, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Morris, I know you, but we all appreciate what you do. Thank you for the $5. Thank you, Morris 17. I appreciate it. So it's been kind of like this. So like waking up to that was like, what the hell? So that's one video. I heard, at least it was suggested, why don't you like re-upload it or something? If I re-upload it, I have to go back and censor it all. And then the other thing to this too is that I want to make sure that it doesn't get me for like repetitive content, because that's another ding too. I'm working, right? I'm almost done editing the last part of Daniel Phillips. For those that have been following the trial, Daniel Phillips had a very extensive second day cross-examination. It's crazy because I know when I reported, we were using Inner City Press and CNN and all these, outlets. It really doesn't do a whole lot. Like, you don't get the good essence of what happened in between. And let me say, there was other hearings before the trial started on the what was it, the 13th, which was Tuesday, the second day, when Daniel was going to go up there and finish his cross-examination, right? There were things that happened before that. There were things that happened before that I was able to capture from the transcripts that you will not get, like, unless the media was there. Sometimes they're not. And I'm talking about the tapes specifically. And I'll give you guys a hint here, but I might like, there's some things that I have to kind of skip over just to make sure that I censor myself really well. The news media on Tuesday morning, and I talked about this in a separate video. You guys remember, those that have watched it, shout out to everybody that's new to the channel. I'm closing my eyes because I have to reflect on that video. There was a video that I did on Monday night, and some of you guys might have watched it Tuesday morning. Something to the effect of the news media, the NBCs, the CBSs, and all these outlets, they submitted a letter to the judge and basically told the judge that they want to see Cassie's tape. They feel like it falls under the First Amendment. They had a whole hearing about it, okay? Before the trial started. They had a whole hearing about it before the trial started. They sent a lawyer from the media to talk about it. And where they left it off, the judge basically told the government, hey, I'm going to wait for you to draft something to figure out how you're going to respond to CBS News and all these outlets, right? Agnifilo, in that hearing, said something very interesting. Then I was like, oh, okay. Because I feel like every time you hear the defense or any of these attorneys, where they're coming from, they kind of give you a little bit of an insight of where they're standing from, how they're going to fight, what they're going to do. Agnifilo was like, I don't support the media having these videos of Cassie. Honestly, I don't. That's what he said. He said, it's almost like, he called it PORN videos. Okay. Prom videos. That's what he called them. And I quote him on that. So they had several hearings and check-ins before Daniel Phillip came in. Okay. Then after Daniel Phillip, then it's Cassie. Now, let me tell you, I've already peeked on the way in which Cassie talks. And shout out to everybody that's been listening to, the transcripts, because you guys have said that the pauses are great. I really try to not stumble on my words. And this is why pre-recorded is very important, because you can listen to it like as a podcast style, right? And I tried to kind of maybe tune the pitch a little bit on my voice so you guys can hear that this is somebody else talking, this talking, and this talking, and maybe even do a little inflection. Like yesterday, what was it? Before they silenced my video, objection with the stretched out N, objection. We said that a couple times. I said, I'm gonna have to, that word between the word correct and objection, correct, objection. I said, I'm repeating myself. And it's interesting because even the transcripts kind of reflect times where, you're repeating yourself. You're repeating yourself on a couple of things that you're saying. So, yes, YouTube did censor yesterday's video last night, but don't worry. The thumbnails in the I'll show it to you guys which one was censored. I can't play it here, but I'll show you guys which one they censored. And I'm going to see about if YouTube denies my appeal, I'm going to re-upload it, but I'm going to go back and censor it heavily, even though it took me so many hours to do that. Yesterday's video took me a lot. The last one that I did was a lot of hours, and I'm still working. I'm done recording for Daniel Phillip's second part. I'm finishing up his cross-examination and stuff. This is the one that this was the thumbnail. I thought they would have gotten me for the thumbnail, guys. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay. They didn't even ding me for the thumbnail. Hold up. Where's it at? Is it here? They didn't ding me for the thumbnail. This was the thumbnail. And some of you guys in the chat were like, ooh la la, what is going on? No, I mean, the guy was an escort. You could say that that's art. Okay. They didn't ding me for the thumbnail. They got me for saying master's book. That's what they got me for saying that. That's what they got me for. Someone gets triggered over our rights. They should offer psychological help for them instead of taking freedoms away. Good point, JJ. Shout out to you. Maybe they should, but you said I heard Diddy's release a new album in June. It's called Reasonable Doubt. Actually, that would be the hottest drop ever, y'all. That would be. I think that there's people reporting, and I also think that there's people reporting from other teams. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that's what it is, and I think it's a community warning. I take it very personal, honestly. I do. I don't like that I was censored, but I'm gonna fight it. I'm praying. Y'all pray for me. Hopefully YouTube is like, oh, we made a mistake. We're gonna figure something out. That's what I'm hoping. But if it doesn't happen, then it is what it is. I'm just going to censor myself very heavily, and we're going to be very careful about the things that we talk about. And that includes you guys in the chat too. I hate to put it this way, but if you're using cursing words, and I know my mods do a really, really good job at explaining, to misspell it. That includes you guys too. Just misspell your words or they will get censored, and not by me, but by YouTube. Okay. Let me tell you guys something. So there has been this, like, I've been nosy, right? And I've been going to like other people's channels. Like I was trying to listen to like various platforms. I was listening to Mims, Make It Make Sense. He had an attorney out there. I had one of my beautiful, wonderful attorneys kind of give me some education about the RICO part, because I feel like, and I definitely agree that people have already concluded what this case is about. And honestly, we are just now, I think they're just now laying out the work, if you know what I mean. Yeah, we love Mims. Mims is amazing, actually. He did a really great panel yesterday. I liked the people that were up there because they were saying different things, and I was like, oh, I didn't even think of that, or I didn't think of that. Thank you so much, Didi, for the $2, y'all. I'm telling you, I was really upset this morning. I'm still upset, but what can I do? They could have age restricted that video. I would have been fine. I've been like, yeah, it deserves to get age restricted. Not really, but yes. But like, what children? My channel's not made for children. Yeah, cute. There's cute little bunnies and stuff like that. But my channel is tagged in the settings, not for children. I better not be on YouTube Kids or anything like that. I don't even let my kids watch the channel that I do. No. You said Rabbit had it bad. Nobody stuck to 2 minutes. I know he gave it was so funny. He was giving people 2 minutes. You can't give people 2 minutes, Mims. They gotta say what they gotta say for longer than 2. I would probably give them 3 minutes with a timer. Like you can only talk with a timer, but a lot of people are, guys, this is the biggest case. Do you understand? Like the last case that was like this, OJ Simpson. I can't think of another one. OJ, Karen Reed is another one that's a big, I mean, even Karen Reed is kind of like, people are, yeah, Bruce is not made for kids. Bruce is not for kids. Bruce Dollars, not for kids. No, it's not. Okay. Thank you. And guys, hit the like button. When I tell you all to please hit the like button, if you want to figure out how to support, it's not always financial. It's always just, sometimes you just got to hit the like button. I would really appreciate it. I don't ask for much. And when I do is like one. Oh my God, Tori, you're right. Johnny Depp was another one. Johnny Depp was a heavily covered case. I didn't even get it. I was a new creator around that time. I would have loved to have covered Johnny Depp, but it was one of those like really polarizing cases. Like you either went one way or the other way. You know, it's kind of like that. It's like it gets so big that it gets so polarizing and you have to be careful. You know what I mean? You said they just starting. I was involved in federal cases for months. Yeah, there's so much to learn. We definitely have to keep in mind the charges are serious, guys. I don't think that I think what people expected was something big, right? And I'm going to say that there's a lot to say that trafficking was occurring. If you understand what the RICO definition is by law, like I was even going back and I was like examining the things that I was saying, right? Some of the things that I was saying, I was like, oh my God, like how could it happen? This is huge. Did they prove their case? I would love to understand what the jury feels. Can you imagine interviewing a juror member afterwards? Imagine that. This is a huge case. It really is. And so that's why you're going to have enter the bots. You're going to have bots. You're going to have people that derail things. You're going to have fake supporters of certain things. You're going to have people infiltrate things. And that's a given. That expect that does happen. And then things kind of lead into conflict. And I'm doing my best to just kind of stick to things. The other thing I wanted to say too, while we're on this topic, is like, I know that I have a lot of survivors here in my chat, and I want to shout you out because this can't be easy. If you're making a choice to listen to this case, this cannot be easy. And I would ask you guys that, when we're live talking about this case, instead of trying to convince people, really seek to understand. Some folks are set in their ways about how they feel about things, in both sides. Sometimes when you experience trauma so severe, somebody telling you something different, it's never going to be okay. You know what I mean? But in order for us to have really conducive conversations, and I like having adult conversations in my chat, my channel, we need to understand that not everybody is going to agree with you or co-sign with you or the experiences that you went through in your life. My mods do a lot of things here, guys. But one thing I notice about the chat is that people do feel like victim blaming is happening here and there. Guys, if we have a fluid conversation about the things that are being presented to us as the public, we cannot always shut down and throw that this is this and that without exploring what is actually happening and what that means. And if it's too fluid, I can't independently go, and I'm not even asking my mods to do that. Pika's in the chat, Cheeks, all these other mods might be in there. Shout out to them. I'm not asking my mods to independently block everybody that does not agree or that it's doing something. You guys in the chat, you guys have a block button. Y'all know that, right? You have a block button in there. Thank you, Baby K. I love Baby K. Thank you, Baby K. I've been following, just not on lives as much. No worries, Baby K. I was thinking about you too the other day. You guys have a block button. Please note that. You can block a person. A mod doesn't always have to block a person for you. Like if somebody said, hey, I don't believe, or Cassie, let's just put it out. There's people that believe that Cassie's not a victim. I'm not going to have a live to convince people why Cassie is a victim. We're talking about the trial. Does that make sense? So in order for us to get through this, we have to talk about the trial and the details and the things that they're experiencing. You know what I mean? Sometimes people will not believe. And here's the deal is if you sit there and try to convince everybody, you're not going to win. You can't. And it's vice versa. If you believe that this is an unfair situation and people aren't seeing the other side, you're not there to convince everyone. I love the chat and I love the freedom of thought that we have. But I'm going to ask you that if it gets too heated, hey, man, I have a block button. I can block it. Okay. I think that's important. That's how I run my chat. As long as keep it cute and don't be disrespectful. That's it. That's all. You say I stay blocking. I stay blocking people out of my face. I really do. When people disturb the peace, block it. Okay. I think that's important. Okay. So I want to talk a little bit about, because I don't want to duplicate work. Okay. So I might record this here and show you guys what I'm talking about on day 2. Let's talk about Diddy. Let's talk about a little bit more on what is happening. So I guess there's new lawsuits, and I'm afraid to say the word Tootsie Roll. YouTube? Let me read this. Because one of my beautiful, wonderful, I think it was Kiba gave me this to read. YouTube, I have a statement for you. This is educational content. We may allow the kinds of violence or graphic content noted above, in some cases, an educational, documentary, scientific, or artistic content. This is not past and upload content meant to shock or disgust or discourage others to commit those acts. For educational content containing the kinds of violence or graphic content noted above, this context must appear in the image or audio of the video itself. Providing it in the title or description is insufficient. So I'm going to make sure that every time I go live, I have to condense this and make it in shorter words to basically say, moving forward, I'm not trying to gratify anybody while we read these documents or go through these things. We're literally doing this for educational purposes. Do you understand how many people emailed me and said, do you know how important it is that these transcripts are out? Because we're not getting the news from the major media outlets. Do you know how important it is that BJ, myself, Mims, Armand Wiggins, who else? Popcorn Planet, all these people are out live talking about this, because there's the in-between that the public is not getting. And honestly, I think that that's what people are missing. You can have Candace Owens talk about all kinds of things and not get censored. Nancy Grace can do it. Law and Crime can do it, but we can't. But we can't. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. And this isn't on some salacious stuff. Okay. Here's some of the transcripts, right? So last night, I finished recording, and now I'm editing Daniel Phillips, the escort, okay? So what is so interesting that after Daniel Phillips stopped testifying, they had another hearing. Okay, let's get into this real quick because I don't want to duplicate work. I'm going to read it here with you guys, and we'll be editing some of this. Let's see. Mrs. Stavio, who is the defense. Your Honor, may we have a brief sidebar before the witness? So Daniel Phillips gets done. He's out. The next witness would be Cassie at this time. But before Cassie got there, they had a brief sidebar. Guess what? The transcripts captures those sidebars. Now, there are times, like BJ was saying yesterday, where court reporters aren't allowed to be there. So they kind of have to not be there, basically. But these transcripts will capture these sidebars and this back and forth. So Mrs. Stavio says, Your Honor, this is a Rule 615 issue. We understand that Ms. Ventura's husband, this is when they talk about Cassie Ventura's husband. Ms. Ventura's husband, Alex Fine, may be present in the courtroom, and we expect him to be a potential defense witness. So we would ask that he being excluded. We can elaborate a little bit more on the reasons. I didn't know that Alex Fine would be a defense witness. And we expect him to be a potential defense or defensive. I'm pretty sure maybe that's what they meant. But they said defense witness. Pretty sure they meant to say defensive. Like he's going to be combative kind of deal. That's what I think. Let me see if I can make myself smaller. Okay. So this was confusing, but let's keep going. And we expect him to be a potential defense witness. So we would ask that he being excluded, we can elaborate a little bit more on the reasons. The court says, I don't think you need to, unless there's an issue with that. Ms. Johnson for the government then says, there is, Your Honor. We were advised of this approximately 10 minutes ago. He's not included on the defense witness list. So Alex Fine, Cassie Ventura's husband, was going to testify for the defense? Miss Ventura's husband is here with his family to support his wife and testify publicly. We had under CVRA, she has the right to be treated with dignity and privacy. And she would like support in this courtroom as she testifies. Defense says, Your Honor, her husband, Ms. Ventura, began her relationship with her husband while she was still in a relationship with Mr. Combs. And there is an overlap between the two of those relationships. It also relates to our cross-examination related to her accusations about R-ing during the course of both of those relationships. I hate that I have to say R-ing, but I have to say R-ing. I didn't stir my coffee. Oh my gosh. Oh man. I need to stir it. Let's keep going. It also relates to our cross-examination related to her accusations about R during the cross of both of those relationships. The court says, it doesn't matter why you're seeking to call him as a witness. Defense, okay, you're telling me that at this time you are calling him as a witness. Is that right? Ms. Garrett goes, if I could just elaborate. What we have given the government is a witness list of our case in chief. We do not know who the witnesses we need to call on our direct case would be for possible impeachment areas for witnesses, and that the government would call on that they called on their case in chief. The reasons are important because at this time, we can't really tell, Your Honor, who we know we would call. But there are several allegations that the government could bring up during their direct examination that we would explore during the cross that may lead to witnesses we would call on our case in chief. That would just be for impeachment reasons. At this time, we can't say who definitely would call. And we certainly, the court interjects. Why wasn't this raised before this morning when he's here with the entire family? Ms. Garagos speaks. Your Honor, I apologize. I brought this up to Ms. Comey, but not Ms. Johnson yesterday. This is my fault, and I didn't follow up on it last night. I apologize. We're not looking to have her support people. Her brother is here, who was around all the while in their relationship, and we have. The court responds, her brother's here? Ms. Garrigo says, we have no problem with her brother. How old is her brother? Her brother is a couple years, mid-30s. Johnson, for the government, says mid-30s. Okay, and her children are here? Her children are not here. They are not here, the court says. Ms. Johnson then responds, no. So who's here, the court asks. Her brother's here, her cousin, and her husband. Now, with respect to the husband and his very small factual overlap with this case, the government is open to discussing what stipulations could be reached to, what is it? Let me make sure I said that word correctly because I don't want to mess it up. Give me one sec. Y'all, I told you guys I'm hooked on phonics. Obviate. Oh, to remove. Okay, yes, I knew the word. Oh my gosh. Could be reached to obviate any means, the court responds. Let's do this because we have the jury and everyone sitting here. There's been a request for the break. I'll let the jury go back to the jury room just for a second. That way, whoever needs to take a break, and then discuss this in open court. All right, says Ms. Johnson. Thank you, says the court. Okay, so the court continues. All right, members of the jury, we're going to take a brief break. So they take the break after Daniel Phillip leaves. If you guys remember, we're watching. He tells everybody to get back and, for the break. Okay. The jury was not present around this time, and this is why transcripts are important. These are the details that a lot of folks are missing because sometimes when the jury leaves, the reporters leave, the journalists leave, okay? Every once in a while, I do see inner city press that will put like some narrative there, of what happened after the jury left, which is amazing because I think that I like that. You know what I mean? I'm still sitting on the wing tutorial. Am I have to censor myself on the wing tutorial? Let me know. Did y'all know? This is what I thought was interesting, because like Cassie's done with testifying, but Alex Fine could be called too. So even though I wonder what he's going to be called for. By the way, one of the things that the transcripts revealed was that Alex Fine was sending threatening messages to Diddy too. So this got really escalated. I mean, he was calling him an old ASS and all kinds of stuff. Yeah. The defense can subpoena him even if he's against the defendant. That's right. I didn't know that they were planning to. That's the thing that surprised me. I said, I didn't know that they were planning to. It is wild, right? Okay. let's see. So they are having a little conversation before the jury goes in. And this is again May 13th, before Cassie gets to testify. All right, please be seated. If anyone needs a break or needs to use the restroom or anything like that, if you should do it now. So please go. Now, in terms of the issues that were raised at the sidebar, Mrs. Stavio, can you, or Ms. Garagos, can you explain what is going on here under the hush tones at the sidebar? I have missed things. You can tell me exactly what is happening. Ms. Garagos says, our application, Your Honor, is that Ms. Ventura's husband not be in the courtroom under Rule 615. The reason for this, and of course, we do not know what her direct testimony will be at this time, but if the government elicits any allegations about any alleged R by Mr. Combs in the summer or fall of 2018, I could see that there could be a possibility, based on how cross-examination goes, that we may need to call him on our case for impeachment purposes. Additionally, there are several others. I mean, Ms. Johnson said at the sidebar that this is just a very small period of overlap. But there has been 3 instances I want to point, Your Honor, to that could be relevant with respects to his potential testimony. So the first would be the alleged R in the summer or fall of 2018. If they go into that on direct examination, the second thing would be whether or not Ms. Ventura is going to testify on direct that Mr. Combs even threatened Mr. Fine when their breakup was, when they had broken up, when they weren't together anymore, and she was with them. And then the third is that after Ms. Ventura made the demand of 30 million, began to make the demand of 30 million to Mr. Combs, and prior to Ms. Ventura's lawsuit against Mr. Combs, Mr. Fine, okay, look at this. Mr. Fine sent several threatening text messages to our client saying that he would like to beat the F word out of his old ... just several words that I will not repeat on the record. Alex Fine got hyphy. That's what Alex Fine said. I'm coming. I'm gonna beat you. Yes, and Katie, there have been conversations in the roving room. Yes, there has been. One of them was captured on court transcripts. Yes, after this, there's more. You're right. I think that he's trying to destroy Cassie's marriage since he blames her for his own actions. So let's keep going. Let's keep more going. This is going to be included in a pre-recorded, by the way. Make sure you guys are doing me a favor and hitting the like button. Remember what I said earlier in this video. There are channels that they're trying. I've been censored. One of my videos got taken down that I worked really hard on for several hours, and we're hoping to hear back from YouTube and hoping for good news. We were told 24 hours. Okay, let's keep going. There are several threatening messages that my client received that we got in discovery from the government. And again, we don't know what the direct will be. So I think this argument would be a little bit better if we did. These 3 areas of possible testimony that we could have to call him on direct case. And that reason we didn't put him on our witness list, of course, was because that witness list is for the defense case in chief. But there are several potential witnesses that, depending on how the government case comes in, we would have to put on in our case in chief. That's our application. We are certainly not looking to not have her have support people in the courtroom. So they were saying that they wanted to excuse. They didn't want Alex Fine there. They had asked to have him removed. This is part of the reason what was going on between that, okay? We're certainly not looking to have her have support people, not have support people in the courtroom. That is not what we're looking to do. I expect, my understanding is that her brother will be in the courtroom. Her brother is someone that was around their entire relationship, but I don't expect that his testimony would be relevant at all in this case based on our review of the 3,500 and the messages. And so we are not making an application that he be excluded in any way, or that any of her family members, except for her mother, who I expect to testify, not be in this courtroom. It's really with respects to her husband because of these three discrete issues. So the court says, okay, Ms. Johnson. Ms. Johnson, who's for the government, then says, Your Honor, a few responses. First, with respects to both this witness and future witnesses, the government would respectfully request that the defense provide me more notice of any potential impeachment witnesses it intends to call. To the extent they are not, may call. To the extent that they are not on the 34 witness list. The witness list is 34 people? They got 34 people in the witness? To the extent they are not on the 34 witness list. Oh my God. That's a lot. Her husband has every right to be upset about the past, present, and not to mention what he may have seen before he fell in love with Cassie. I stand 10 toes down with Mr. and Mrs. Fine. Minus Aubrey. Well, so then, okay, I'm going to tell you guys something. And you guys are going to think that I'm trying to be understanding of this. There was an exclusive that was put out there, right? That said Aubrey O'Day was going to be testifying, right? I think we all saw it. I posted it on my community wall. And then suddenly it was said that that it wasn't going to happen. That she got a call that she wasn't going to testify. I have a lot of questions about that. In part because I haven't gotten to the part where they don't want Aubrey O'Day to testify in the transcripts. They might not be there. But I just really hope, because somebody had said it in my circle, and I have to kind of wonder, that people felt like, did Aubrey use this as like to throw her name in the hat type of situation, to keep people talking. I hope that that's not the case. I really believe that maybe she did have to testify, but it's weird to me that now she doesn't have to testify. What I was told is that she flew in to New York, and then last minute she was told she didn't need to testify. But they have a 34 witness list. That's a lot of people, 34 witnesses. And we're supposed to be done in June. Oh, and by the way, speaking of which, because I do talk about this in my pre-recorded video, they're already having 2 issues with 2 jurors, by the way. 2 jurors, and they're having issues. One of them, giving you guys a sneak peek, one of them, the juror's child is graduating in June. The judge is like asking everybody, can we be done by June? The jury selection question said, or at least the instruction said, that they would be done by before July 4th. So already people are like, well, we got stuff to, because it's graduation. You know what I mean? People are graduating. Shout out to everybody that graduated. People are graduating. They're doing different things and whatnot. Vacations, all this. Kids are out of school. My kid's out of school on Friday, officially for the summer break. I'm here for it. But, people are doing different things. But this juror did say during the witness selection, because I have the notes of when this happened, that she had a graduation. And then, get this, and then there's another juror who has to travel and takes care of his wife who just survived cancer. And I think it's in the notes, she's 74 years old. Yeah. So guess what then the judge said? Okay, so we're going to try to speed up. We're going to have longer trials and shorter breaks for the juror that has the graduation. And then we're going to, the issue of the elderly wife and you taking care of her is not an issue to dismiss you from jury duty. You have to stay put. The judge actually, he received a letter from one of the jurors and he had to sit down and basically talk to the juror about it. I want to know, that's the tea on the jurors, guys. That's the tea. I'm telling you, my next video that I'm dropping, as soon as I'm done with everything, you guys are going to hear everything. You're going to hear the sidebars that we don't get to hear and the arguments. Yeah, so they're saying that the juror can't attend the graduation. I'm wondering about this. And the other one can't attend to their sick relative. Why were they selected? Why were those juries selected? BJ, shout out to BJ, y'all. I was telling the people what happened earlier. BJ, but we're talking about the jurors. So in the transcripts, I was explaining to everybody in the chat that juror, I wrote the numbers down. Juror number 160, she has a, I'm assuming it's a she, I don't know, but she or he has a high school graduation. So this trial is supposed to last or at least be done by like July 4th. That's what they estimated, right? July 4th. Well, the judge tells the attorneys that they're going to have shorter breaks and longer sessions in order to be done. And then the other juror that they have a problem with is juror 75, who actually wrote a letter to the court, and they made that letter as an exhibit and basically said to the court that he has a wife who recently survived cancer. She's 75 years old and she's very sick, and he's having to drive. I forget where. Was it Westchester? I forget which area. I'm not from New York, clearly, but that the drive was very long. So the judge basically told this juror, like, that's not an excuse to get you out of jury duty. And we're going to try to hustle it up when it comes to, for the graduation, for this person to attend the graduation. But we have, for those that don't know, we have 34 witnesses. We have a 34 witness list. 34. You guys are dropping names. Cameron Diaz? Who else? Who else? Oh my goodness. I did have an attorney. Was it yesterday or the day before? Yeah, well, whenever Friday was. Somebody, one of the subscribers has said that they thought that this trial was going to end in a mistrial. That they felt that this trial was going to end in a mistrial. That's what they said. Cameron Diaz and Diddy briefly dated. I think they were seen together. I don't even know if they dated, but they were seen together a couple times. I mean, who hasn't Diddy been with? Ask Kelly Osbourne. Ask what's her name? The Osbournes. Don't forget about that one episode where they were calling her Puff Mommy. Who used to watch the Osbournes? The Osbournes said that she wanted to hook up her daughter to Diddy. Diddy would be great. And then they started talking about Diddy's blah, 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 and how long and blah, 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 blah it was. I'm censoring myself. I'm going to have to put some censors in here. That's what they said on that show. They were talking about Diddy's Tootsie Roll. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's keep going. You have to. I did a review on that. Y'all remember? You remember me playing that? Sharon Oz. The Osbournes are very quiet right now, guys. Very quiet. Don't forget that. And Kelly Osbourne was like 13 or 14 years old when this was happening on the show. Diddy gave her a diamond Rolex. You're right. And Sharon was like, oh my God, I bet he smells so good. I bet his thing is blah, 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 blah. Da, 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 da. And they were talking about, and I'm like, ew. And you could see, what's his name? You said he got a small shrimp, man. Oh my God. Do they have Tootsie Roll emojis in the chat? I don't think they do. They only have shrimps. Kel on Earth, thank you so much for becoming a member of My Love. Shout out to you, Kel on Earth. Thank you for supporting the channel. Yeah, she was 13 or 14. Jack, the brother, who was like, you could tell he was like uncomfortable with the way in which his mom was talking about Diddy. She was talking about, oh, Puff Daddy, I'll be Puff Mommy. She wanted to marry Diddy to Kelly Osbourne. It's weird. And so then when he got arrested, there you go. The only reason we're calling it the Tootsie Roll is because of the lawsuit that they just said. Don't censor me, YouTube. This is for educational and comedy relief purposes, okay? That's as close as we get to a Tootsie Roll. Oh my God. Oh my God. We need y'all are crazy. Anyways, Jack was disgusted with his mom. So they recently did a podcast. Okay, I have a video on this. I've done a couple videos on this. I might put them on the community wall so you guys can watch it. They recently did a podcast about this where Jack is like, this is really serious, what's happening with Diddy. The dad didn't want to talk about this. You could tell he felt uncomfortable. And this is like a music reality TV show, industry people. So it's like, you guys really should, what are you talking about? Like, you're in the shit, You're in the shit. Don't try to disassociate yourself from the things that you're in already, or you've been in, or you've been a part of. Sandy, thank you so much for becoming a YouTube member. Thank you, my love. Shout out to Sandy, and shout out to, hold up, shout out to Cal on Earth. Thank you, guys. Aw, you guys are amazing. Thank you. Thank you for becoming members. Okay, let's keep going. So here's new information. I don't know if everybody knew, but we have 34 witnesses on the list, okay? Because, and I wonder, side note, I wonder if the jury saw this too. Like they had to look up that list to figure out who they knew. 34 people. Because this is nothing that was foreseeable to the government until a few minutes ago when it was raised. Okay. I do not expect that any of these topics will be covered in today's direct examination. We may cover one of the topics likely tomorrow. That would be the first one, the R, okay? As I said at sidebar, the government is open to speaking to the defense about what, if any, stipulations could be entered. A fact that could be entered that could obviate the need to call Mr. Fine as a witness. I really am not sure how, if at all, he would be able to testify about an alleged R that occurred between Mr. Combs and Ms. Ventura. But we're open to having that dialogue, and we would ask that Ms. Ventura be allowed to have her support, her people, including her husband, here in this courtroom. She has various rights under the Crimes Victim Rights Act, and we would ask that he be allowed to be present. The court interjects. All right, and look, Rule 615 is mandatory on the court once it's invoked. The rule has been invoked. The exception is, I suppose, in Federal Rule of Criminal Procedure 60, and that would pertain to victims. So that doesn't apply here. So I don't understand how there would be an exception to the rule unless the defense said, and maybe they are willing to do this, that given what you've said about the nature of the examination, it's probably not going to come up this morning. And that might be for you one of the critical times for her husband to be in the courtroom. So if that is not going to come up this morning, it may be something we can deal with in the afternoon session. That depends on the defense. Unless I'm missing something, that depends on the defense indicating that they're comfortable with that and waiving any right they may have under Rule 615. If they invoke that right, maybe you can help me. I'm not seeing what the exception is you're trying to invoke, given Rule 60 addresses this issue and it only pertains to the victim. Ms. Johnson's for the government says, okay, or understood, Your Honor. Then I would again reiterate my request for much significant notice. Court says, it is no longer a request. It is now an order from the court. So you don't need to explain what is happening, Ms. Garagos. Okay, so I'm assuming the judge is looking at Ms. Garagos now. All you need to say is that for this witness, we are seeking exclusion of X person because of our understanding of what the testimony may be. That way, the government will have advance notice, so there is not a surprise in the immediate, right before or right during any testimony. Garagos response, understood. The court says, all right, so Ms. Garagos, what is your position? Can you give me 15 seconds to confer, Your Honor? Yes, so counsel confer. Garagos then says, Your Honor, we've conferred. We understand that she would like her support people. If he wants to come into the courtroom today before 2018, the 2018 time period starts, we are fine with him remaining in the courtroom until then. We would ask that he be excluded once we get into the time period, that specific time period, okay, of the R-ing. So we covered that. I have the transcripts where Cassie talks about that. But thanks to YouTube, we're going to have to heavily censor ourselves. I have to use words like R-ing. For those that are coming in new, my video yesterday got taken down for saying the word master. You fill in the rest. Mm-hmm. No joke. I sent it to a bunch of creators so they knew that even educational words they use in middle school when they're talking about abstinence or whatever it may be, you can, if you use the word here on YouTube, master, you get censored. So it just gives you guys an example. Okay. Hold up. Let me see. Sai, thank you so much for becoming a member. Shout out to you. Thank you. And Iron Rabbit's been a member for 15 months. Thank you, Iron Rabbit. I hope you're doing well. Shout out to you. Thank you, Iron Rabbit. I've been thinking about you. I hope you're well. Shout out to Iron Rabbit. Your favorite gum was Bubblicious back in the day? All right, then. I didn't like Bubblicious. It lost its flavor. Just like Juicy Fruit. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I just tagged myself to that conversation. Okay, let me keep going, all right? So Tini Garagos then, of course, says we would ask that he be excluded once we get into that time period. The court says, all right, so Ms. Johnson, I think all you need to do is to request a sidebar at the appropriate juncture. And we'll take that sidebar and then we'll make the adjustments as necessary. Ms. Johnson says, understood, Your Honor. I want to flag one idea. I will be asking one series of questions early in the examination about a post in 2018 time period, but I don't believe it would implicate any concerns. It relates to the authentication of evidence and electronic devices provided by the witnesses. So, okay, that's up to Ms. Garagos, the court says. That's fine. Okay, the court says, okay, all right. So we'll take it there. We'll be back in a couple minutes. There's a recess. Anything else to raise before the government calls their next witnesses? Government says no, Your Honor. Agnifilo says no, Your Honor. And the court says, all right, let's have our jury in. Okay, so this one must stop right here because this is where I'm going to record separately on Cassie, okay? I want to talk about, I want to look into Inner City Press and talk about real quick a little bit about the last, because I missed some minutes of the, of Cassie and when Don Richard took the stand. Okay. Now let me tell you guys something. I honestly, I've read the Don Richard lawsuit multiple times. I've done videos on them. I have reviewed it, and I have always felt like there's one specific event that Don Richard talks about in this lawsuit. Okay. And it completely stayed in my mind because of just the gravity of it. She gets locked in a car, and the car has no way to get out. And she was left in this car for hours. Do you guys remember that specific lawsuit? Iron Rabbit, thank you so much for gifting memberships. Thank you, Iron Rabbit. Hold up. I'm trying to, why won't it let me do a reaction? Let me see if I can share this. Give me 1 second. You guys, there's the court. We're very busy at court right now. See? We're not even there, and we're outside there somehow. Let's see. I can make myself this. Oh, there it is. Okay. Iron Rabbit, thank you so much. If you guys have been blessed by Iron Rabbit, put some hearts or some confettis in the chat. Thank you, Iron Rabbit. Thank you. Appreciate you. Okay. Do you guys remember? I think that would be considered kidnapping, right? I would say kidnapping. Let me know. Juicy Fruit was the worst in the locker room after PE. Everyone had a stale Juicy Fruit. Oh my God. This is an interesting way to put it. All the tasty gum lose flavor. All the Mexican gum too. Do y'all remember chicle? The little chicles, the little ones that they sell. The little kids would be selling at the cars. I had a little cousin who was selling chicle like that. We go to visit Mexico and he'd be out there selling gum. It's amazing. It's a different way of life when you're in Mexico. Okay. That gum was horrible, by the way. It lost its flavor for sure. I want to go to Diddy real quick because I did miss the last part. Thank you. A lot of unsealing requests here in SDNY, some of the other courts. And we're going to look at Pacer too, because Pacer had new documents up there too that we got to talk about. Hold up. Okay, thanks for having been out. Is this it? No. All right. This is the video, right? We talked about security guy. Let's see. There's BJ in the chat. What day was court? Was it the 16th? Was that Friday? I want to make sure I got my day right. Yes, it was. Okay. Sorry, y'all. I got to get this right. I think it's this one. Where you go to the old tweets. No. Here it is. Okay. So this is, okay, I cannot wait to read about this right here. There was a video that they wanted to allow where Diddy is speaking to God, and somehow that video is relevant to what is going on. I think they're trying to like shape his like character or something by allowing this video. I'm not really sure. I don't know, but that was weird too. Like there's this video out there, and I don't think that was allowed. But let me keep going, okay? So, did Mr. Combs go through your phone? Look at this from 2013. They're looking at stuff. This is Ventura here. Here it is. Audio still playing at the jury. Ventura, I will effing kill you. I've never killed anyone in my life. By the way, this is an issue that's also raised in one of the pre-recorded videos that I'm about to release today. That they had concerns about Cassie's character. That were trying to drive her character about her making threats. Okay. So she talked about neurofeedback, and we went into that. And then with the jury out, witness list by 5 p.m. Okay. I was still developing physically. You were 22. Women developing after 22 don't think. Women keep developing after 22, don't you think? But you're not suggesting that you're still physically developing after 22. I'm not. So she was going back and forth here on that, which I thought was crazy because people were making fun of her for saying that she's still developing at 22. That's actually very true. Your mind never stops growing. You're still developing at the age of 22. Actually, the brain for the women does not stop until the age of 25 or 24. And if you've had trauma or even pregnancy makes you lose some brain cells. So like people will say why, and I've heard this before many times. I probably have had it too. Pregnancy brain, where you're kind of slow, and you feel slow, or you're not processing things all the way. That is a very real thing because you're pregnant, and then say that there's trauma that goes into that, and then say that you get pregnant at a young age. All of that stunts your mental growth, believe it or not, especially for women. So that is a very real thing, and I don't know. I didn't like that the defense did that to her. Like, you mean physically? And then people started getting stupid in the comments about physical development. It's crazy to me that people don't know the difference. But okay. Let's see. Hold up. In 2018, you called it close your conversation with Mr. Combs was inviting you to Burning Man, right? Yes. I'll read, Mr. Combs. You have anger, yada, yada, yada. I don't want to get into too much of this. I want to go right into... Okay, they talked about the R-ing. Okay. Combs' defense. You wrote, I didn't mean to be a bitch. I just don't get the time, he writes. Just need you to be positive, correct? Yes. DX1309, this is about a yoga instructor? Yep. What did you write? I stopped even caring. But you did care. Yeah. So he said you could date other people. Let's just talk about that. Correct? Correct. What did you write? I wrote, I do love you. I just prefer not being one of your girlfriends. Let's get up tomorrow night and I'll do studio. We've read this. Okay. Now, your now husband didn't know you were with Mr. Combs at the time. I don't know what he knew. Later, he discovered objection. There's an objection there. After Miss Porter's memorial service, you wrote to him that you were going home. Why had he called Kim his soulmate? What was the 11 years about? Yes. That was hurtful? At that time, yes. And after that memorial service, you never saw Mr. Combs, right? I did not. He let you go, right? I never saw him again. I don't know about letting me go. You got married to the love of your life, right? And there's a break. Okay. Let's see. Did you guys know, and the transcripts will tell you this, did you guys know that This was the first time they had seen each other in 6 years. Diddy and Cassie, this is the first time that they were together in 6 years in a room. Okay? She hadn't had a conversation with him or anything like that at all. She said, as a survivor, I'll say this is hard to listen, but I'm doing it because I'm supporting Cassie and other victims, says Mama Bear. Definitely understand that. I have let's see. LOL, you guys can ignore the beeps. It bothers y'all. Genuinely asking because it doesn't bother me. You talk about Discord? I'm used to it. Are y'all like tagging me or what? It's Sunday, y'all. We're catching up on stuff that we missed. Let's see. I have it on mute, guys. I have it on mute. Okay, where was I mentioned? Here it is. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to check this later. I don't have time to check right now. 6 years. I wonder if that was traumatic. Yes. Thank you. It's beeping in here too. You guys are hearing the beeps too? I mean, I can exit out. I'm not hearing them. I think I'm just used to them, guys. I'm used to them. Okay. Hold up. Let's see. We're going to go right to other updates here. So when they got back, let's get this done before the jury returns. We still think it's appropriate for this message to come in. This is the government. We still have issues with the phrase, I'd like to reconnect. Government says, what state of mind is this being offered for? The judge says, there are portions that are properly admissible, so this needs to be redacted if it's going to be admitted into evidence. For example, in the 5th paragraph, I've been getting my life together. No. So the defense says, we can get that through other exhibits. You can retract it right now. I will do that now. So also also Combs, Teeny Garagos on exhibits and redactions. I want to say we are going to finish with Cross faster than he thought, probably before next week. Probably before next break. May I speak with the government for 1 minute? The judge says, bring the jury back. Jury entering. Miss Ventura, we're almost done here. Thank you. I will read Mr. Combs' message. You're going to make a beautiful mother. God bless. Ventura says, I said, thank you. God bless. Ventura then says, I wrote we should talk and have closure. Combs' attorney says, Mr. Combs sent back a tear face emoji. You said you were always my ride or die. I thought it was nice. You'd been craving that before. I don't think I was craving now. You shaped you over 11 years. There's a silence. You shaped each other? Yes. Your husband's physical trainer? Yes. The house you grew up in Connecticut was relatively modest compared to the mansion? Yes. And this is where I was telling you guys that they keep throwing this settlement, right? You were preparing to tour with Matt Testa? Yes. He's an engineer. Once you settled your lawsuit, you canceled the tour, right? Yes, because you no longer needed the money. That's not the reason. Okay, they're throwing this out there to kind of shape the thinking of, oh, this is a money grab. That's that narrative, that money grab narrative, okay? Which is pretty typical of what we've seen, okay? DX 1015, Mr. Combs wrote, want to freak off one last time? What did you write? I don't want it to be the last time. I want freak off for the first. No further questions. Redirect. So then the government redirects her, and I feel like we read this already. There's a statement that she made here. So the government asks, what world did Sean open up to you? And she says, a world of chaos. In your 11-year relationship, who did you want to have sex with? Only him at that time. When Sean wrote, seduce me all day, what did you do? Write about FOs. And I have to kind of wonder, guys, is this the only way that Diddy knew how to have relations with people? Just by FOs? Like, did he not know how else to connect with people? Was he only connecting with people by FOs? I wonder about that. Let me see. Splendor. So we can stuff our heads in sand, and we need to know what this horrible man has done. And hopefully one person will see the flags and not fall prey to others. I think the body language changes. Thank you, Daddy's baby girl, I hope you're doing well. I haven't seen you in a minute. I don't hear the beep. Only relationship with was with Kim. Well, didn't they say allegedly, Matt? Because that's what they kind of led everybody to believe in that documentary, that the mom was like a lady, you know, a Heidi Fleiss type of lady. You know what I mean? I'm trying to be careful. All right, I'm trying to be careful. There was a Heidi Fleiss type of personality. That's what they said. Now, if that's how she got down, it does make you wonder what he saw as a child, you know, and kind of what he felt was acceptable. The beeping has stopped because I turned it off. She was like a lady, a Heidi Fleiss, right? Yeah, that's what I heard. Yep. Thank you, Matt. See, Matt knows what to do here. Shout out to Matt. He like censored it for me. Okay. So it does make you wonder about that. So then there was the movie. Now, on the way back from Kane's, what did Sean do? He played a video of this part right here, about him playing a video while they were in the plane or something, and he was threatening to release it. Okay. What were you afraid that he would do with that freak off? Okay, wait. When Sean wrote, you ready for tonight? What did he mean? Freak off. What were you afraid he would do if he did not do that? FO. Objection. That's what the defense said. Overruled. I don't know that week. Next question. Do you have any doubt that Sean argued you? Objection. Overruled. I have no doubts. Cassie responded. After Sean argued you on August 18th, did you later have consensual sex with Sean, during which you now husband FaceTimed you? Okay. So there was that. Let's see. And then there was a part where she said that she would give the money back. So as long as she didn't have like the trauma that she has or something to that effect. Okay. So then there was no further questions. And the defense got up and said, you knew Mr. Combs' sexual preference when these freak-offs, right? I learned, says Cassie. It's part of being his girlfriend. Yeah. You kept your old devices? Yes. And FO videos in this case, they were all on those devices you kept from 2012 and 2014. I don't know what year. You were able to stand on this side at the Met Gala being his girlfriend. Gave you access to producers? Yes. Beyond Kid Cudi, what other musicians were you put in the studio with? And then enters Nicki Minaj. Okay. He said it was Nicki Minaj. And we were all talking about, oh my God, Nicki Minaj. You were in the studio with Lil Wayne. Yes. Rick Ross, and then names all these names. You had a bad performance on 106 in Park. That happened. And then D-Rock was like a family, like a member of your family. Yes, like a brother. The assistant Mia. The assistant Mia is going to get mentioned in Daniel Phillip more extensively. The assistant Mia or Mila. Is it Mila or Mia? It might be a different name. Mia is the assistant. There's another person that's mentioned by Daniel Phillip. I believe her name is Mila because it's Malia. This is Mia. Mila. Side note. Okay, here you began with an explicit message. Any response, you are actively sexting. You start that you were feeling overwhelmed after filing your civil lawsuit, right? You recently received a settlement from the Intercontinental. No. You made a demand? Yes, 10 million. This was interesting. So she had the Diddy lawsuit, and then she made a demand from Intercontinental for 10 million, maybe something like that. Nothing further. And then the government gets up and says, I just have one question. The judge says, I was asking the defense, can you wrap up in 2 minutes? This is what the judge said. This is the last thing I'll ask you, Miss Ventura. This is the last thing I'll ask you to read, Miss Ventura. Thank you. We need closure and understanding. Why do you keep your devices? This is what the government is asking Cassie. I was afraid of what was on them. I wouldn't take them to the Apple store. Oh my God. So if she had like FOs here, okay, or SEXs or something, you know, like stuff, taking it to the Apple store, they would open that. They would actually open that, right? Can you imagine that being the case? I mean, it's one thing if it's like consenting adults, you know what I mean? But if you're a victim and you're having to take these devices to like the Apple store or something like that. Young Miami interviewed Diddy on her podcast 2 years ago. He didn't have a man that was marrying type growing up in his mom's life. So he didn't have a father figure as much. If I remember correctly, there was somebody who like stepped in to be a father figure, but he didn't have much of a father figure growing up. That's what it sounds like. Respect Pickles. Shout out to you. Thank you for the $5. Thank you for supporting the channel. But yes. There's also a video of Diddy getting IVs with his mom. Oh, don't forget that. This is why I say that Diddy's mom was with the ish. They're under, like, the lady looked like she participates in like a couple of FOs. I've repeated myself on this. Don't forget when J-Lo, she did an interview with the magazine and she talked about how much of a cheater Diddy was, and she had to go look for him around like 3 a.m. and she was going crazy, so she had to end that relationship. That's how crazy she was going, which then makes you wonder if she participated in a couple of FOs herself. Like, did he? Because I highly doubt that this concept of FOs started with Cassie. No way. I think I'm sure Kim Porter was well aware of what's going on. Let me say this. Remember the lawsuit with the model, Kim Porter, okay? Kim Porter, there was a lawsuit with the model, with Kim Porter, and Kim Porter basically was being accused of participating in these FOs, and these were not consenting things, and there was a model or something to that effect, right? There was that. So keep that in mind. YouTube, are you writing me an email? Okay. Sorry, I'm like, Splendor, thank you so much for Splendor64. Thank you so much for this 99-cent super sticker. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Why'd you keep your devices? Hold up. I have one question. I was asking the defense. Okay, we read that. Why'd you keep your devices? I was afraid of what was on them. I wouldn't take them to the Apple store. Defense says, question 1, you received $10 million settlement with Intercontinental last week before trial. Objection overruled? Yes. So Cassie got $10 million before the trial. During the break, Agnifilo says, we object to the testimony of the witness after the special agent, Don Richard. Okay, so then I guess around this time, Agnifilo got kind of special. Oh my God, please don't censor me, YouTube. Agnifilo's name is not Agnifilo. It's Nifilo, because he will be doing the most ish. When there was a transcript that we read at the very beginning before opening statements, Nifilo had a problem with Cassie being pregnant and walking in front of the jury to basically gain sympathy, because based on his experience, she should be seated before the jury walks in. She's like 8.5 months pregnant. Okay. Like, if she, like, why are we anyways? And so the government luckily said it's a medical condition. She's pregnant. Like, he was making it sound like this is such a medical condition, it could obstruct this whole thing. I don't know. I cannot. That's our new word. Nifolo. When he talks, that's what it is. If his mom and kids participated in FOs and it was recorded, how are they all sitting there with no charges? Hard to believe that they're all innocent. I don't think the kids participated in FOs. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think that there's any minors. That would be a separate charge. Malachi, and I don't think it's his kids at all. I think that this is truly about what they call trafficking, because the traveling, okay, what they call the coercion, the messages, what she was saying, the statements that she has made, combined with the CNN video, which is not necessarily the thing that they were charging him with. But I highly doubt that this is just about, there's no kids. No way there's kids involved. Now, maybe there might have been witnesses that could have been children, but I don't think we have children. Now, Cassie, when she met him, she was 19, that she's not a child then, right? I really think it would have been a separate charge. Okay? It would have been a separate charge. That's right. Being pregnant is not a handicap at all. You said folks come to court with neck braces and crutches. But Agnifla was making it sound like, oh, you are, what's the word? She's invoking sympathy. So that's the new word. Ag-fucking-nifalo. There it is. There are internet minors that were made up to sway our thoughts. I think where people have a hard time is you have the criminal case and then you have a civil lawsuits. The civil lawsuits could become criminal, okay? Case in point, Cassie's civil case, and even the defense said it early on. If it wasn't because, and I've said this before multiple times, guys, if it wasn't because of Cassie's civil lawsuit, we would not be knowing about this at all. I don't know if Diddy would be charged with the RICO if it wasn't for, I think Cassie's lawsuit was the thing that started it, if that makes sense. And it's not to blame her. It's just that's the reality, is that they investigated it. They started questioning people, and they're probably still investigating. But I don't know about this specific statement. I will say this. There's a civil parts where there's a lot of people that said that they were minors at the time. If my understanding is that when Busby came up, now I don't believe a lot of what Busby's doing. That doesn't mean that all of his clients are fraudulent. I don't. I believe that there's some clients that are telling the truth. But I do believe that Busby really threw the monkey wrench by basically taking away from actual victims by not doing his due diligence in certain areas of his cases. Now he can't even represent half of the people that he's representing. He's had to submit things, and it turns out first he tells people that he's licensed and he's able to do X, Y, and Z, and then it turns out that he's not. That is all Busby. And I was rooting for Busby. I really was initially, because I thought, okay, like they're really trying to get at this guy. I don't believe it. I've already heard his reputation in Texas is trash. It really is. But I'm pretty sure, and I've said it before, I believe that there might be some minors. They're just not in the criminal case. There might be in the civil case. And also keep in mind, certain things have limitations. Certain things have limitations. They just expire. So sometimes the only way to go about this in a civil case. But yeah, that's how you go about it. If the civil lawsuits could have become criminal, then why didn't the feds pick up any of the cases? Red flags, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Doesn't necessarily mean anything. It's all about what elements they could meet. Doesn't mean that they are fraudulent. No. That something could have happened. We don't know. We weren't there. Just because it didn't become criminal doesn't mean it didn't happen. There's some elements that just don't. There's things that happen to people and don't get met. There's a lot of people that don't get judged. It's very similar. This just happens to be Diddy. So I don't know if I agree with that statement, but okay. Steeler Princess, thank you so much for this 5. Regarding the S trafficking, would they have to prove they were making money? Seems Diddy was paying for everything. I don't think they would have to be proving that they have to pay for money. I believe it's the coercion part. Hold up. Ixot, hold up. I'm going to try to pull my wonderful, now it's going to start beeping the Discord because I have a message. I know Vicky's in the chat. Vicky, can I read a little bit of our message? Are you okay with that? And I think this is important. So we were talking about KK. Let me tell you guys something. Vicky, you're in the chat. Just give me the thumbs up if you're okay if I read the RICO requirement specifically. Let me know. Okay, thank you, Vicky. Vicky has experience, y'all. Drop some hearts for my mod, Vicky, my ride and die of 100 months, 300 months at this point. RICO requires a pattern of racketeering activity, which means at least 2 predicate offenses within a 10-year period. Several crimes related to prostitution can serve as predicate offenses for a RICO charge, including S trafficking involving the use of force, fraud, or coercion to compel a person into commercial SES acts. Interstate transportation for prostitution, which is the Mann Act, prohibits transporting individuals across state lines for the purposes of engaging in prostitution or other illegal sexual activity. Cassie, for example, you can make the argument that she was transported and then they were bringing other people for the purposes of SEX, even though he had houses in Miami, Los Angeles, New York. That, my friends, would be your transportation part. She could have gotten on that airplane. She probably had no idea that's what it was. Remember what Cassie said in her testimony? Until she realized things were illegal. She's thinking, and at least this is, and I can't speak for Cassie, but the way I'm seeing this is she is being made to believe that she is in a relationship with this man, and she is emotionally being played that way, being taken all over to have FOs, and she would only be doing these FOs with the person that she says she loved. She didn't want to shame him sexually, so she wasn't saying anything. That, my friends, is there. Where you have to kind of wonder now, was it consensual 100% of the time? Did she consent to have the FOs 100% of the time? And it doesn't look like that was the case. She was okay sometimes. She had conversations with people about them sometimes, but she did not consent herself 100% of the times to these FOs. And that, my friends, is the problem. That's that coercion. That's right there. Now, she is a star person. I get it. But where I think Don Richard comes in, it's important, is because she also worked for Diddy. Okay? She worked for Diddy. She got locked into a car. These were things that were very real. And I remember the civil lawsuits, certain civil lawsuits got picked up, like Cassie's, like Don's, who knows who else. Keep that in mind. Like there are things. Now, where I wonder, just because there's no minors in this RICO case doesn't mean that there wasn't any minors or any minor victims. Doesn't mean that at all. They just, sometimes people don't get justice. That's how it is. Hey, Sylvia. And by the way, hold up. And there was more to this. Transportation was proved. Listen to this. Transportation when Cassie was, testimony, giving all that. Transportation was proved when she asked both Cassie and the sex worker what cities did they have FOs in. Oh, excuse me. Is that a question? Maybe. Okay. KK, Christina Quorum, who was first mentioned by Cassie in this case, is a subsequent indictment. There's only one person in the trial. Take the head first. His track record of witness tampering is not something you play with. They have to get him behind bars first before they go after anyone else. That's just basic legal logic. Also, a footnote. No one even thought of Cassie. Listen to this. Cassie is actually a co-conspirator, even though she's a victim of DV. She's the victim of the crime, and she's a co-conspirator. So for those that are making the argument, well, she didn't oppose, she didn't say, she could very well be a co-conspirator of this crime. And she's the victim of the crime as well. So you have to wonder what agreement she signed to be able to, she was probably forced to testify. She was probably forced at this point, if she signed anything. She's a co-conspirator. She's a victim, yes. And many victims find themselves in a situation where they co-conspire to things. It's the truth. Mm-hmm. 9/11 motion filed by defense. Not good for Cass, says Tippy. Hey, Tippy. She's gonna do what her controlling boyfriend wanted. But she's still a co-conspirator. So you do wonder if she signed something. And shout out to Vicky who wrote this, because I was like, yeah, I mean, typically, if this was a enterprise, an industry, an organization, whatever it was, this would be the shit that they would be trying to figure out, right? She co-conspired, and she's a victim of the crime too, okay? She was forced. This is where people get the DV part confused. Well, the defense is saying it's just DV. Are you sure about that? Because those, to me, they kind of like go together. You have the coercion, the being forced, the being the this, and then the DV to basically force the person, to break the person's spirit, to break them emotionally and mentally, to make them stay there. That's a very real thing. Okay, hold up. Let me read this here, because this was important. She didn't take any type of plea. How do we know that that would have been the defense lawyer's first question to her? And it was not, and never mentioned by either the state either. All the accessories will be indicted after they get Sean. They have to get Sean first. There's no way you can have all of them possibly in the same prison with Sean, and you can't have them all on trial and not Sean. That is not sound illegal work or the framework of a criminal trial. So it's very likely. So if Diddy Combs gets taken down, who's the head of the snake for now, even though honestly, side note, this is not fact. Where's my gavel? This is not any legal anything. Please note. Okay. It's the beeping. I'm sorry. Let me quit. Let me stop my Discord. Sorry, y'all. Thank you. Let me know if that works. And thank you so much for the $2. Sorry, I had the Discord on because I was looking at messages on the side. Okay. I don't think that it's just Diddy. But I don't think Diddy's going to snitch on anyone. Okay? I don't think that this is just Diddy. To me, this is giving like John Gotti. Okay? There's no way that this is just Diddy. But Diddy's not going to snitch on anyone, guys. No, he's not. He would be like a walking Epstein man. You know what I mean? So keep that in mind. I don't. Okay, that's just my thought. But okay, it further says all the accessories will be indicted after they get Sean. So KK might go down too. Oh yeah, this guy right here. Motola, Tommy Motola. Another one. All the accessories might get indicted after Sean. There's no way you can have all of them possibly in the same prison with Sean, and you can't have them on the trial and not Sean. That is not sound legal work or the framework of criminal trial. Thank you so much, Vicky, for this. This is very helpful, by the way. So to answer your question regarding if it fits a RICO case, it has the makings or the markings of one, along with the Mann Act. The Mann Act, officially the White Slave Traffic Act of 1910, is a federal law in the United States that criminalizes the transportation of individuals across state lines for immoral purposes, primarily focusing on prostitution, sexual exploitation. Alex Fine made a statement too. Okay, I have to read that later. It is also in their best interest, I'm sure, all these accessories to make deals. Okay? Because it could possibly be looking at life, or behind bars many years. So all of those people could have made deals. Cassie could have made a deal. Everybody could have made a deal. Yeah, she's a victim, but technically, legally, she's a co-conspirator. But there's a lot of victims that find themselves in situations like that. In prostitution cases, for example, you have somebody that's a recruiter, might be a female that's I've seen this before, recruiting other females, and then you have the pimp. So the female who's recruiting other females, she could very well go down for a lot of things because she co-conspired to this with the pimp and everybody else behind, right? That's a real thing. Isn't that what Maxwell's there for too? Keep that in mind. I don't know about that. We don't know what deal she might have made. We don't know. Maybe she does or she doesn't. But a crime was committed. And I think a lot of people, and here's the other deal. KK's name got dropped, right? KK's name got dropped. And it makes me wonder about her. Because one thing that I noticed that Diddy would do, he did it with Cassie when he did that BET award show. I want to thank Cassie for holding it down. He did all that shit, looking at the camera. And then he reminded her, it was almost like he was throwing a message out there like, you've been holding it down, you better watch out type of situation, right? I think he did the same with KK at some point when he wrote on a Twitter something to the effect of, here's my right-hand woman. She's always got my back. She's always doing, 10 years with me. She's a Diddy right-hand woman, giving people the opportunity to feel special within the circle. But yeah, that's how I'm seeing it. You said, yes, it happened in my case, my testimony as a victim. So that's something to keep in mind. But people don't really like, this is why I say you guys have to like be open to the fact that, you know, there are things that people have done here that might have been victims, but put them in a light where they've had to do or die, right? Like it's like a survival, lie, get around things, that type of deal. Okay. Let me see what you guys are saying. Hold up. Thank you. You said, thank God I can't sing. Okay. Hold up. So Agnifilo, they had an issue with Agnifilo and Don Richard, and I think Don Richard is definitely going to be one that will be interesting to listen to. Okay, further goes, why is this coming up at 3:30 p.m. going forward? You just address things before the court. So why are submissions not in the docket? That's a question that Inner City Press is asking right here, guys. This is the kind of stuff. Transcripts aren't like, this is why transcripts are important in the court. So the jury's entering. Madison Smyer, I hope I say that right. So Attorney Madison for the government. Good afternoon. Where do you work? And this is Special Agent. So Don Richard was supposed to testify, and I guess it didn't happen here. But the Special Agent, Yassine Binda, HSI in the Human Trafficking Group. I'm in the Crisis Negotiation Group. Did you serve subpoenas in this case? Yes. When Sean Combs arrested, where did you go? The Park Hyatt room 2115, where he was staying. So there was photos of the entrance shown to the jury. What did you do? We assigned a letter to each room and began to search. What was your role? I took photographs of the items, then signed them on to 6051. Wasn't Diddy arrested with a bunch of drugs too on him, on his person? Like he needed to like, you know, have drugs to kind of with him all the time. What was in his closet? A plastic bag full of J&J baby oil and Astroglide. He had a bag full of Johnson & Johnson baby oil and the Astro. Can you imagine being an officer? It's like, sir, you just got like, you still haven't learned, you traveling with this baby oil all over the place at the hotel. At the hotel. Okay, let's keep going. What was found in the bathroom? Several bottles of baby oil at the arrest. Now the bedroom. What was found in the LV bag? Medications in the name of Frank Black. Oh shit. And that is bags of pink powder found in the medicine bottle. Okay, stipulations shown agreeing that it was found and tested by Customs and Border Patrol Lab. The pink powder was found to be ketamine and MDMA in the bottle. Physical evidence passed around to the jury. So the government says, what was found in the black mini pack bag? $9,000. Take the cash out of the bag, please. So Binda fanning out the bills. No questions. No further questions. Any cross? Tini Garrigo gets up and says, if the hotel room, did you see any bags and clothing indicating that women were staying there with him? Yes. The U.S. may call its next witness. Your Honor, the government calls Don Richard. So that was short. Don Richard comes in. Where are you from? New Orleans, Louisiana. From 2004 2011, who did you work for? Puff, Sean Combs. She worked for Diddy for many years. Did you see him? Do you see him? Yes. Who is depicted in the photos? Cassie. I keep saying 2019. In 2009, did you observe an incident between Puff and Cassie? Don responds, she was attacked by Sean Combs, kicked. Did you see any more violence by him against Cassie? Often. When were you a member of the group? 2009 to 2011. The incident in 2009 when Sean Combs beat Cassie, where was it? In Sean Combs' LA homes. We were recording. What did he do? He was saying, where the F is my food? He grabbed a black skillet with eggs and tried to hit me over the head. Cassie dropped to the ground. What did you do? She went into fetal position. Then what? Sean was kicking her in the head and the body and then dragged her up to the first floor, breaking glass and yelling. I was scared for her and for me too. Did you intervene? No. Did you call the police? No. The next day, what happened? That it has been passionate and okay. So I guess she talked to her and she said it had been passionate. It was okay. That it would be better if we didn't talk. The people would end up missing. This, my friends. How many people ended up missing? How many people ended up missing? That's the question. How did you understand that? Death. Objection. So at a sidebar, the judge says, jurors, you can leave for the weekend, watch the Yankees play the Mets or the Knicks. If you're not into sports, there's a lot going on. See you Monday. I hope they're not watching the case. About the testimony, this shows consciousness of guilt for count 1 and relevant to count 2. This is what the government said. Agnifilo, it's not sex trafficking, it's domestic violence. Ag fucking nifilo. Ag effing nifilo. I just want to throw my gavel at him. Why didn't you bring emotion in the limelight on this? I didn't know. What? Sir, you were representing Keith Raniere. What are you talking about? You didn't know. You're not new to this. I cannot believe it. Agnifilo will do the most and do the most. Okay. We cannot sit here and say Miss Ventura did anything because of this event because she didn't talk about this one. So this is rank speculation, but she was there, the judge says. She doesn't know the effect on Cassie Ventura. Well, then do they need Cassie Ventura to testify again? So here are the good next witnesses: Carrie Morgan, David James, and who else? Let me see if I can look this up. Next witnesses tomorrow to testify. We will be live, guys, and we will be breaking this down. But please note that we have other pre-recorded videos on these transcripts. These transcripts, if you want to know the detail, the deets that we're not getting from everybody, because it's hard to kind of tweet everything at the same time. Shout out to them. If you want to know the details, you need to watch the pre-recorded videos. Okay, you need to watch it. I'm just working on censoring this next one that I'm about to drop, and then we're recording Cassie's. And Cassie's, I could already tell you because I've already seen a little bit of it. Her speech, she kind of like, she's nervous. You could tell, you could see it on her speech. There's so many there's so many ands, there's so many so many things that she says that I've heard Cassie talk many times, thousands of times, right? Like when she's doing interviews, and I can kind of imagine her speaking this way, but that was Cassie in the 2000s when she was, promoting her music, and this is a different Cassie, So I have to kind of keep in mind. So they're saying people are still kind of throwing this out there that Aubrey O'Day is testifying. I don't know. I guess I'm confused. It was put out there as an exclusive. But then Cassie's mom is also going to be testifying. There's going to be a lot. Let me know what you guys think. But here's the deal, Lindell. There might be damning evidence against Cassie in the first week. Remember, the best evidence is to show in the first week. Just remember to think if you know what I mean. But Cassie's not the one in trial. She might have co-conspired, but she's not the one facing the charges. So what's damning against Cassie? I think where you need to focus is if you're saying that you feel like Cassie was with the situation, she's not a victim, then you really need to start focusing on not who is damning on the stand as a witness, but more so does the evidence make sense to what they're presenting, if that makes sense. That's what I would ask you. Mm-hmm. You said my heart is damaged. My heart is damaged. Yeah. It's a lot, guys. All right, guys. I'm going to let you guys go. This is a long live. I got to go. I have to work on a pre-recorded video. I'm going to go do that right now. So expect that. Again, YouTube has censored my video that I dropped yesterday over using the word master something at the end. You guys know how that word goes. Do me a favor, please hit the like button. Any way you can support is amazing, but the best way to support, if you can't, just hit the like button because it does get in the algorithm, and it basically tells YouTube YouTube, you're whack. You're whack. And y'all, let's hope that they take that community warning off our page. I hope. I don't want to be blackballed or blackmailed or shadow banned. That's what we don't want. I will see you guys later. I'll see you guys later. Hit the like button. Bye, guys. Bye, guys. And thank you to everybody that supported. Thank you, guys.